Here we are on day 7 of our Yolo County mandated shelter in place or stay at home. Hopefully everyone's staying healthy, staying safe, and staying sane. Let's work on our golf game. Thanks to everyone for sending in the responses to my second video on the full swing. Congratulations to Chris Chong, Joyce and Craig Copeland, David Kopic, Joanne Brennan, and Dave Wilson. They each won a putting stick that I featured in my first video by answering the challenge question correctly. The answer, of course, was Slide Hill Park. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what it means to swing on plane and why that's important. You're going to need 4 things: a golf club, an indoor golf ball that you can hit. This one happens to be made of foam rubber. You're going to need a place to swing a golf club indoors. And of course, you're going to need your favorite music. I have my Bluetooth speaker. Today we're listening to Jake Shimabukuro, an ukulele player from Hawaii. Let's talk about swinging on plane. Swinging on plane helps control your direction, where the ball's going to go. There are 3 things that you're in control of that influence where the ball goes. Number 1 is your setup and where you're aimed. Number 2 is your swing path or swing plane. And number 3 is your club face at impact. There are some other variables that influence where the ball goes, such as wind direction, the lie that you have, whether it's side hill or not. Elevation can influence where the ball goes. But the things you're in control of are the things I mentioned earlier: setup, swing path, and your club face. There's a very famous picture of Ben Hogan from his 5 Fundamentals of Golf that shows a plane of glass resting on the ground and tilted. And you see Ben, the image of that, of him swinging up the plane, down that plane, and back up the plane. Here's that image. So let's talk specifically about what it means to swing on plane. As I swing up that plane of glass and down that plane of glass and back up the plane of glass, my golf shaft will be pointing to or tracing the target line throughout the golf swing. So let's take a look at this practice station I've created to help me swing on plane. I made a straight line through the ball with some painter's tape. That's called the target line. I've also used some tees to create an arc that's going to represent the swing path. And then I have a hitting station right here as well. Your indoor practice station doesn't need to be this elaborate, but as long as you can visualize the target line and visualize the swing path, you'll be all set to go. Now that we've defined what it means to swing on plane, let's talk about how to practice that. This is a drill I call tracing the target line. What I've done is I've attached a laser light to my golf shaft. More about that later. The laser light will indicate where my golf shaft is pointing throughout the golf swing. So what I'll do is I'll set up to a golf ball and I'll make some slow motion swings, and I'll try to trace the blue painter's tape, which is my target line. I'll try to trace that with the laser light. Here's what it looks like. As I swing in slow motion, you'll see how my club head follows the line of the tees, moving to the inside of the target line, but the green dot traces the target line. It's going to be out of the vision of the camera right now, but I'll finish my backswing. And as I come back down, on my forward swing, you'll see the laser light, as it comes into the field of view, will be on the target line again. And as I swing through the ball and into my follow through and finish, I continue to trace the target line. So if I just make short swings to represent a chip shot or a pitch shot, I'll still be tracing the target line. In other words, the laser light will follow the blue painter's tape. I'll go slowly at first. And again, notice how my club head follows the tees and moves to the inside of the target line. But the laser light traces the target line. So if I just go back and forth, I'll get a sense of what it feels like to swing on plane. Now you may not have a laser light at home, but here's one way you can practice this. Take your golf club, and instead of holding it normally, turn it upside down. Hold it like a normal golf club, upside down. And as you swing, just make sure the golf shaft is tracing the target line. If you make bigger swings, just make sure when you come back down, the end of your shaft picks up the target line again. So let's use the laser light and show you some swing faults. If I allow the laser light to follow the tees, my club is actually moving too far to the inside. What that usually results in is a backswing that's way too flat. So again, if the laser light moves to the inside, that's not good. We want to trace the target line. Just the opposite, if the laser light goes to the outside of the target line, now I'm getting disconnected from my arms and my body. I lose that connection. We want the arms and body working together. So again, let's trace that target line. This time I'll go all the way up to the top of my backswing. Come back down. Golf shaft once again traces the target line. So you can see how swinging on plane helps guide the swing path. Remember, there were three things that influence where a ball goes: where you're aimed, the path you're swinging on or swinging on plane, and then the club face, what the club face is doing while you're swinging, especially when you're hitting the golf ball. Is it open or pointing to the right as a right-handed golfer? Is it square or perpendicular to your swing path as you're swinging? Or is it closed and pointing to the left? If you're swinging on plane and you have a square club face, which is a club face that's perpendicular to that plane, your ball will go towards the target every single time. It's physics. Let's take a look at that in action. So I've got my indoor golf ball. I've got my concept of what it's like to swing on plane. And now I'm going to try to keep my club face perpendicular to that path and that plane. If I do that, the ball should go right down the target line. Let's take a look. So remember, Practice tracing the target line. Use your indoor golf balls. Practice swinging on plane. And when you get back out on the golf course, you'll be playing better golf. So you saw that I was using a laser pointer when I was tracing the target line. This is what I was using. I found this on Amazon. I believe it was about $25 or so. Here's what it looks like up close. It's actually meant to be a laser sight for a pistol. If you look for one that has a bracket similar to this. One end of the bracket will go onto the golf shaft. You slide the laser into the other end. And it's a perfect training aid for tracing the target line and learning what it's like to swing on plane. It really builds that feel.